Hi everyone, Bobbie LaPorte here again with my weekly tip for your best next move, where I help you have more agency in your work, acknowledge your capacity to act, and see what you can do right now. So I'm sitting here on November 7th at Lake Tahoe, and they say it's going to snow again tomorrow. It's a good thing I remembered how to shovel from growing up in New Hampshire. Anyway, this week, I wanted to share a scenario that comes from my new book, entitled When the Curveballs Keep Coming, a Leadership Playbook for an Uncertain World, because I believe it represents a challenge that many of you are facing in our changing and uncertain world. A new young vice president I was coaching was faced with making some tough decisions about his department's strategy. Given all the uncertainty in the business environment that was facing him, clearly this was uncharted territory for him. And I'm sure that you face the same challenge. For instance, when you need to plan an environment that you've never experienced before, where do you start? Well, one option he considered was to use the same process he had in the past. I mean, at least he had experience with that, which was more reassuring than starting from a blank slate. After all, he thought, I've just gone through the process of proving myself to be promoted. My past experience must have value because people have confidence in me. But also, as a new vice president, he felt real fear about admitting that he was not sure how to proceed, because that might open him up to potential criticism from his team, his managers, and his peers. He debated and went back and forth about how he should proceed, but in the end, he decided to ask his team for input, even though he realized that they were also searching for the same certainty and likely relying on what they had known had worked in the past. But that opened up a conversation when he admitted that he didn't have the answers in this environment, that no one does, and that he needed them to work together to create a new approach. He knew his team well, and while they were young in their careers, they were smart and resourceful, and that gave him the confidence that they could figure it out together, instead of relying solely on what had worked in the past, which clearly was not going to be effective now. And they did. But if you look closer at this successful outcome he had, there are a couple of other elements at play here. Number one, he was able to practice two of what I consider the new requirements for strategic leadership: being vulnerable to ask for help and getting results through others. And two, he knew the strengths and skills of his team well. He was not afraid to ask them to extend themselves to try something new. And that's one of the key elements of leveraging your team's strengths. Look, in this environment of continuing change and uncertainty, every day presents some new challenge that you've likely never seen before. And for most of us, the natural path is to default to what we've done in the past, to what seems known and reasonable. But in many cases, the solutions we're seeking don't exist as we know them, or at least we may not recognize them as familiar and as useful as we did in the past. So here's my tip. When you're faced with a new challenge and you don't know where to begin, don't be afraid that you are unsure and that you need help. None of us have all the ready answers to deal with the new curveballs we're experiencing every day. And don't hesitate to start with your team, as my client did. Part of your job as a leader is to introduce things that others might not feel they can do. We need the skills and talents of everyone to handle the challenges that we are seeing every day. As always, I want 2021 to be a year of momentum for you, one of possibility thinking that takes advantage of the agency we sometimes forget we have. That's my tip for the week. Have a great week. I'll see you next Monday, and I'll let you know then if I had to put my pretty old shoveling skills to use here in Tahoe. Okay, everyone, take care. Bye-bye.